We from the TOLEDO OHIO. We from the TOLEDO OHIO. Welcome to another episode of the Two EILE and the Two Do. I'm your boy, your host, man, a.k.a. I'm your boy, your host, EILE, a.k.a. Mudbone, the city marshal. This is Toledo, Ohio's premier podcast, man, urban podcast. Yeah, we broadcasting 45 minutes out of Detroit, Michigan. Considered pothole capital USA. You know what I mean? We roughly an hour, I think two and a half hours from Cleveland. We got Chicago by 5 hours. We can get to Cincinnati in 3. We can get to Columbus, Ohio in two hours. We can get to Indianapolis, I think, in like 4 hours, maybe. And St. Louis, we can get there in 8. Atlanta in 12 hours. So I only threw them cities out in the time in which it take to give you an ideal of our location. Geographically, we in a dope spot, because like I say, we can touch those major cities and a couple of those major cities in the same day. Like, I can get up in the morning, go to Detroit, be up out of there in a couple hours or so, bam, be in Cleveland by lunch, make a couple moves, and I could be roughly in Chicago doing a late dinner. You know what I'm saying? If traffic is well, you know. So on the location side of things, you know, we in a nice spot. But yeah, man, this is another episode of the Toledo EILE. You know, bringing the unique 30-minute basically not hot, but just, you know, interesting, funny, serious, wholehearted conversation on some of the topics and issues that we face here in Toledo. Uniquely so. Just like I said, being that we so close, we also get family members that's in some of those locations, man, that also some of that shit affect our city, especially, you know, Detroit. But nevertheless, man, in the news this week on the national side, where I'm still in the process of developing a title where, you know, where you do a segment within the show about an individual, a place, people, places, or things. But nevertheless, man, we got an issue, or not an issue. We don't have an issue. The brother Terrence Hitch, a.k.a. Boosie Badass, Louisiana rapper, was was in court the other day, I think like 2 days ago. But nevertheless, he had a gun case, I think out there in San Diego, California, and he ended up the case got dismissed, but then the feds came in and rearrested him for federal violation, I guess possibly weapon violation, being that he was a felon and got caught with that, got caught being around pistols or had a pistol or something like that. But the state dropped the case and the feds pick it up. You know, that's typical. You know what I mean? You can have a state case and they drop it, and then the feds come in and pick that case up. You know, that's how a lot of shit go. You know, but nevertheless, man, stay safe. But you know, that's tough for a guy like him, man, because we done seen within the last few years him doing a lot of interviews on certain platforms and networks and things of that nature, certain podcasts. You know, you done seen him in all kind of places. They also had a incident when I think a homosexual gay dude approached him about some things he had said about the LBG community. You know what I mean? He was tough and on their head roughly like 2 years ago, you know, stating his opinion and how he feel about that issue. And I think it was also he said something clever about D Wade's son or D Wade's child. But nevertheless, yeah, Boosie found himself in some trouble. Then you got a brother, Charleston White, who aggravated or agitate or promote for the charges or federal charges to be brought up on brother Boosie. You know what I mean? That's I don't know. Me personally, I don't know dude angle, man. Like I agree with some of the shit he say. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of brothers I agree with, but then there's some shit I also disagree with in terms of the way they handle the situation. You know what I mean? But for this brother to be advocating for another brother to be incarcerated, I don't agree with that. Now I can see you stating your your beef with some of the ways or some of the things the individual possibly say, but the actual advocate for incarceration, you know, that's kind of absurd to me, especially coming from a brother who possibly also came from the street and who also advocate that he works community programs and things of that nature. I think he also found himself incarcerated. So I find that humorous for someone to have, you know, promote who have been locked up themselves and promote someone else to be locked up. Because for me, man, you know, when I found myself in that situation, I can honestly say that I wouldn't wish incarceration on my worst enemy. Not that the torturous nature of it or what goes on. Nah, it ain't about none of that. I'm talking about simply that's an environment or that's a situation that's unnatural to man. You know, to be incarcerated, to be away from your family, to take a man away from, you know, the possibility of being with a woman. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, that's a you know that's fucked up to me that dude Charleston White would be promoting for Boosie for his demise or for his situation to be bad, you know, to get to max or for any length of time to be incarcerated. That's crazy to me that this brother would be promoting for another brother to to find himself in a situation like that. That's crazy. Um, but yeah, man, this your boy E.I. Lee. You know, it's another episode of the E.I. Lee and the Thule Do. A podcast, premier podcast from Toledo, Ohio, broadcasting from Toledo, Ohio. Every Thursday between 5 and 7, brother make an attempt to get on these waves, man, and voice his opinion about it's basically E.I. Lee and the Thule Do. It's a weekly recap of the local news, shit that's being said or heard in the street, Facebook drama or whatever, TikTok shit, whatever's popping off in the week that sparked the interest of or motivate my interests and my concerns, the shit that I find are relevant to my community that would definitely help us to grow and you know, to avert any bad or negative steps into some bullshit. So always trying to promote the positive, you know what I mean? Growth and development, you know what I mean? Trying to always promote motivation, or progress. So yeah, this is a weekly recap of some of the shit that's going down. So to hit some shit that's within our reach and in our city, the company Bitwise Industry is closing. Um, it's funny about that company because it hadn't even opened up. It was in the development phases of of opening a new office, and this it's a tech company. Um, they do um, coding. I think coding is one of the main things they get off into. Think they get off into some programming, but the thing is that they primarily go into deprived areas, areas that's struggling. Take old buildings, rehab them, and then the people within that neighborhood or that community, the undermined it. I mean the underestimate. Well, I take that back. Um, the disenfranchised people who don't have an opportunity um, at these type of jobs. Bitwise come in, help train them, help coach people up to take these. I mean, to be innovative in some of these tech jobs and things that nature. But you got Bitwise. It deployed about 300 to 400 people, employees in Fresno, California, and it was about 900 people in the company throughout California and across the United States. They had places in Toledo, Ohio. That's why I'm mentioning it. We had one down. They took the old Jefferson Center and was in the process of re-innovating that. But now that they done closed and furloughed all close to 900 and some odd people, places like Toledo, they had a place in Buffalo, New York. They were starting South Side, Chicago, Illinois, El Paso, Texas, and I think it was another place like New Mexico. I think it was. Those were some of the places outside of California, in which they had made investments and bought buildings and was in the process of renovating renovating those buildings and things of that nature to employ people within those cities. Toledo, like I said, the Jefferson Center was close to being finished and was about to open. But I find it, they didn't give too much details as to why when I did some investigation to the overall company and why they decided. But I found that they had partners with like companies like Google, MasterCard, J.P. Morgan, Chase and Company, and Gingerbread Capital. And I mentioned those companies because like those are like real big companies that got like capital. Like Google is a $1 trillion company. Um, Mastercard is a three point 355.13 billion dollar company. J JP JP Morgan and Chase is a 415.2 billion dollar company, and Gingerbread Capital have like over 50 million dollars. And so partnering with with those individuals and a few more like ProMedica, and with ProMedica definitely having some financial situation or going through some financial times, I could see where some of that lack of funding for the projects here possibly would have been delayed. But also, what's not being discussed or what's not being said is the fact that you got the new AI. AI is the one that you have to consider possibly the reason why companies like Bitwise will be finding themselves in a unique situation when it comes to being able to financially or being able to stay afloat, because within a weekend somebody can do coding through AI, enough coding for your whole company in 6 months, and you might have a company of 6 to 8 to 20 employees. And here this AI can outdo your whole workforce. So that's going to put companies and people in a real tough spot these years to come. I would like to see possibly how it would affect like teachers. You know what I mean? I could see something like teachers, a bank, places like that where it's, personnel or having an individual to hold that job is going to be almost obsolete, especially if your AI is able to comprehend, think, analyze, research all at one time. We in trouble, foreign as intellectuals, job wise. So it's gonna go back more or less to the manual labor. Like, what can you do? What can you produce? You know, that's where that's going. But yeah, big wise industry, man. Like I said, laid off over 900 people last week. Furloughed all 900 people throughout the country. Um, Out there in Fresno, California, got hit the hardest because they had roughly 300 to 400 people working for the company within Fresno, um, of the 900. So they really took a hit. But again, cities like Toledo, El Paso, Texas, um, Buffalo, New York, um, New Mexico, and South Chicago, Illinois, um, being that they didn't went in and bought possibly a few buildings in each spot and try and renovated those places, but laid off the whole staff that was potentially was being hired within the next few months. Because I know the building downtown, the old Jefferson Center, as I stated earlier, was a building that the Bitwise industry had purchased and was in the process partnering with Google, MasterCard, JP Chase, Gingerbread, and a few others. ProMedica here, Hunts Capital, I think it is, a couple more venture capitalist individuals that was funding Bitwise, but for them to just close their doors abruptly like that without forewarning has caused the mayor of Fresno to be quite upset, and plus just here, I'm sure the mayor and possibly ProMedica has some kind of disposition towards the company in which the way they just close shop. But yeah, man, this your boy E. Ali in the Thule Do, putting it down again, man. Another episode of just a 30-minute recap of the news. Earlier we was talking about Boosie, man. Boosie got caught up. The hip hop artist, rapper, Louisiana guy, Terrence Hitch, from Louisiana. Terrence Hitch, aka Boosie, was rearrested after gun charges was dismissed out of San Diego. A case in which he caught a couple years ago was resolved and was being dismissed, and the FEDS picked up the case. So Boosie find himself in a tough situation. In a short time, but in the process of that, you got your boy Charleston White kicking dirt on the brother, man. Happy about him being incarcerated, was on there laughing and shit like that. You have to assume by now, just looking at this dude, man, he definitely working with the people. You know what I'm saying? He definitely, all out working with them, trying to aggravate situations, man, trying to blow them up more into what they are, to for some clout chasing or whatever, or financial gain. I'm assuming. You know what I'm saying? I don't think a guy be putting himself out there at risk for nothing. You know what I mean? But you could see that he definitely got some handlers. He got people that's pushing that and got him up there pushing it. You know what I'm saying? So that's sad that brother Boosie, man, got re-jammed up. In the city, man. It ain't nothing, man. You don't work, you don't eat. I can just say, man, I'm advocating for the young brothers and sisters anywhere from age 18 to 25, possibly to 30, man. Come get this money. Go get you a job. You need that. You need 3 forms of income. You got to have a income where you working for one, far as you trading your time for a few dollars. You don't work, you don't eat. We gotta encourage these individuals to get out here and to get at something though. Like we all need to be making a positive effort in terms of getting at this capital. I'm talking about you got all kind of jobs out here, man, that's hiring. You know what I mean? So I encourage your people, encourage your son, your daughter, You know what I mean? To get out there and get at this hustle, get at this paper, apply for some of these jobs, manual jobs, construction jobs. I mean, they out here trucking. Like, I man, anybody that's like, for me, like 21, no kids. You know what I mean? You not a college type dude. You want to see a little of the world. You lightweight in between the fence of like going to the military. Go get your CDLs. Go get your CDLs. Make it happen, man. Within 10 years, you could walk away from that situation, man, and stack your chips. You know what I'm saying? Before you independently go get the driving for yourself. What I suggest you do is get with a company and drive for them. Tear they shit up first. Learn the ropes, then go get your own wagon. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, this your boy, man, E.I. Lee, in the Thule do. Um, 30 minutes of real, intense, funny, informative, motivating conversation, you know, on top of it being a weekly news recap, you know what I mean, talking about things that's irrelevant not only to the city, but the surrounding area. Also, we dip off into some of the local things, local news and shit like that. Like this week we talked about just Boosie and the case that he just caught. But yeah, man, for the young brothers, man, this rap shit and glorifying the street shit, you can get on something else, man. You know what I mean? It was a lot of dudes before this gangster rap or the thug shit came out. They was making money with the lyrics. You know what I mean? From Eric being Rakim to Public Enemy, you know what I mean, to KRS-One, you know what I mean? Them dudes wasn't all talking about busting a cat head and talking about ops and all that goofy ass shit, man. You know what I mean? Uplift and motivate your people, man. Quit talking that bullshit. Having these kids believe that shit is real. You know what I mean? But this your boy E.I. Lee, man, in the Thule do another weekly recap of the local and national news that affect not only our community but the surrounding areas. News that affect the world. Shit that I find irrelevant to us, man, here in Toledo, Ohio. That's what this is. This your boy E.I. Lee, man, in the Thule do with another episode. We closing out, man. I pre-recorded the show. You know what I mean? Had some things to do, but still wanted to get the word out. But like I said, the thing that popped off real big here locally within the last week, man, is this big Bitwise Industries. I suggest y'all check it out. BITWISE Industries. They closed down. They had to. That was them people that was had opened up the reopen up and redeveloping and reinnovating, not reinnovating, but reinnovation of the Jefferson Center. You know what I mean? So this company then just shut down abruptly. Just 900 people throughout the country just said fuck their jobs. Here they partner with like Google, MasterCard, JP Morgan and Chase, $1 trillion company, $1 billion companies, man. And and also locally ProMedica was backing them. You know what I mean? So for them people to just say fuck them jobs and fuck the development or renovate reno the redevelopment of the Jefferson Center, bringing that back and bringing jobs. to disenfranchised people, man, is sad. You know what I'm saying? So I hope the city, man, finds some kind of funding, finds some company that can come in and offer those same type of services, possibly. So we'll see. You know, not reporting. It was a shooting a couple days ago, but really not reporting. You know, staying away from the negative and shit. You know what I mean? When it's needed to talk about some of the bullshit to go on with the gun violence and domestic violence and shit like that, you know, we'll talk about it. But nevertheless, man, this your boy E. Ali in the Thule Do with the new weekly recap. I'm your boy, your host, a.k.a. Mudbone, the city marshal, signing out. Peace.